So back scouting in the same spot that I was at last time. I crossed here to get to this area, and all I had to wear was my boots, and it might have been like shin high, and it is probably knee deep. And all we did was get one big old rain last night. That's why I love hunting down here though. All right, so we're working our way north from where I crossed into here the last time I was here, just following general deer trails. Essentially no buck sign at all, but we got into this spot here where on one side of me is going to be water. Essentially it's like a spillway from the river, and on the other side of that is the ag fields that they're going to hit at night. Now what we're standing in right now is like the first little oak flat that we found. It's small, there's oaks everywhere, shells everywhere. You look down here, I mean they're just everywhere. Yep, white and red. So, be a good idea to get in here. This isn't far from that crossing that we used, but to get in here earlier into the season, find a tree right now and just overlook this area as they're starting to work towards the oaks later into the year. However, we're not finding any buck sign in here whatsoever, but it's just an area to key in on early in the season. We made it probably 40 to 50 yards from that first little oak flat and came up here. Dylan seen this scrape right away. That camera was looking at this. Yep, licking branch right there. And we spotted this over here. This old rope. More than likely it was a camera and somebody came up, snipped that off and took the camera. Because, you know, people just take cameras on public land. There's a historical up here. Yeah, let's pick this apart a little bit. That historical that we just seen. Just over hip high. Hit here. And we were just standing right over here next to this scrape. So this whole section right here holds a deer sign, but not much buck sign, especially not sign from last year. So I'm not too interested in this spot. However, earlier into the season, crossing that water in our waders and then just getting up into here and just seeing what comes in the evening to feed in here is always a good idea. All right, so we came from down that way. There's a bunch of water right here that we crossed, and it pinches down, and we've just kept coming north. We got to the point where we're actually coming up where the property is going to start looping, and this is all private. But there's a beaten trail that Dylan's standing on right there. It's old historic. I can see them crossing right through here though, trying to avoid everything we just walked through, because one, there's not much sign at all. There's not going to be much cover. And this is the shortest pinch to this private chunk right here. Not a big fan of hunting right next to private. Not that there's really any sign here that would tell me that I need to hunt here, but this is kind of a natural pinch that would funnel them this way. However, I've shot in deer that have ran onto private around here, and it's hard to get access to get your deer. So we try to avoid that. Here, film this.
All right. Well, we tried to get across, and we're barely off the edge here. It's not the easiest to navigate through.
Jesus.
Come on. Yeah. What are we gonna do about that? We gotta think of something.
All right, finally navigated through all that. Got to the backside of where we wanted to be. There's a big old blowdown right here I want to check out. The beaten trail. Oh yeah, there's a nice trail that leads into it right here. It goes into it or walks by it. Walked around this blowdown. There's not much sign that indicates that they're using this as bedding. But there are trails running through it to the outside of it. There's a rub right here. It looks old, or it even looks like it could be from early season. That rub is on these two trails that meet up right here. There's a trail that goes this way. and a trail that goes this way. When we were on the back side of this, there was rubs on the other side, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's just more of a travel route. There's a rub right here as well. Trail comes this way. Historic rub right here. A big blowdown is back there. I walked this way. Dylan found some rubs out there, a couple of historicals, one from last year. And I'm walking around and you can see where it's like matted down right here. Something's been laying right here. And I walked out this way. Looks like something's laying right here as well. There's some buck poop right here. It looks like you got a bed there? Okay. Looks like something's bedded down right here. All that grass is all matted down. There's a bed right here. Got Dylan standing in the bed. Oh, that's a good one, yeah. The buck poop right here, right here. Wasn't until now that we're getting on buck sign. With all these blowdowns and deadfalls all around us, we're finding all these pockets of beds. You can tell there's a historic rub right here. That's been rubbed up. That's been hit. All the signs concentrated right here. So we were just standing in there finding all those beds. This is on the outside of it. It's a smaller one. This has been hit. Multiple deer hit this for sure. So we just walked out this way, came down, got onto this main trail here. There's a little smaller rub right up there. Walk down here. This has been hit early season. And the beaten path heads that way. So we came across right there. Walk through here, still kind of following this faint trail. This is all rubbed up. The top of it's about hip high, but it's signs just here and there. Nothing that's like really drawing me to spend some time in here. Found that one area that had some decent sign, but nothing that was like real mature. We'll keep picking this apart. Following this beaten trail still, out from that bedding. Every now and then I find the same looking rub, same quality of rub. So if anything, this could be them coming out of that bedding to wherever they're going, but this is beaten. Look at this. Absolutely hammered. Just on that trail right there, just a few feet off the trail, another rub. The trail splits right here as well. One goes that way. The trail I was on continues this way. Looks like we might be coming up on an oak flat too here, so this might be where this is going. This is the trail that I've been following. There was rubs about every like 15 to 20 yards coming from that bedding area that we found, and it got me to this point here. The trail splits off and goes that way. It splits off and goes this way. This one's beaten down pretty good. There's a rub up here I can see. Nice. Old historic. Really nice historic rub. This is historic. Well, this trail leads to this oak flat right here. So they're coming from that bedding where we came from and getting to right here to feed. Let's pick this apart. So here's a good sign. Just walk through right here. Those two historic rubs are out there. Look at this guy. Shredded up. That's been hit. That's been hit pretty good, yeah. All the way up to here. About chest high. I don't see any hunter signs so far, but we're in like this. Yeah, we're in a. It's kind of secluded, kind of a random little oak flat. We'd have to find it just how we found it today. Dylan found a scrape. Oh yeah. Rub right on it. This is what we wanted to find. Licking branch.
And right here too.
Old historic. That's rubbed out there. Nice. So now we need to find a tree in this area. I want to find a tree that's going to be able to reach the crossings that we got on here from, as well as the scrape. Oh, that's right there. All right, so where we found that scrape and all that oak is going to be right in that pocket. And we came walking out here. I found a pretty beaten path right against the water's edge. And just from experience, I know that the bucks are going to follow the trail that's going to be closest to the water, just so they don't have to worry about threats from either side of them. So we actually followed that trail right here across this little gully. And there's a spot up here that we'd be able to kayak down and drop our kayaks. Now I found a tree not too far, probably like 5 to 10 yards off of where we'd drop our kayaks, and it's on this main trail. Look at this. This is all tore up right here, snapped off, bent over. There was another really good rub up there. The bedding that we found is back here. So I would suspect the bucks to get out of that bedding, come to the water edge, get a drink right when they get done, you know, sleeping all day, laying down all day, and then coming this way towards the oaks, and I'd be able to catch them before they'd get to these oaks. Back onto that little oak flat again. A nice historic. A scrape and everything is over here. But again, the water edge is right here, and all the buck sign, the big buck signs, walk in this water edge. So if a buck wants to scent check that scrape and the wind is blowing towards the river, all he's got to do is just walk this edge right here. He's gonna be able to smell anything on here, anything that's hit that scrape. Just walked up this trail right here. Historical, that's actually been hit year after year. Rubbed, historical. That's rubbed right there. Yep. And again, right on the edge of the water. This big oak flat that we've been walking around, finding all the sign, and is right here. Trail that leads to right here. They're crossing the river right here. It looks like you can see where they're crossing there. They might even be making their way down there. Ouch! Jesus, dude. That water crossing is right up here, where you see this little deadfall leaning over into the water. Now that tree right here would be perfect to follow this main trail, or to cover this main trail, as well as anything that's going to cross the river to come over to here. There's a lot of pressure that comes from this side, a ton of pressure. So if they're going to kick deer this way, this would be a good spot, knowing that that crossing is there and these main trails are here, and there's rubs periodically through this. So I got that tree marked as well. Just got the whole area marked in general. So essentially I have a stand marked on the far end of it where they're going to be coming from bedding, the interior of it where the scrapes are, and then we're going to go to the other end here now where it looks like there's more thick cover, and hopefully that trail or that tree that I just marked is going to cover this side as well. All right, that tree's up here, trail comes down this way. Now that we're probably like 80 yards from that water crossing. Look at this. This is all shredded up, snapped off. It's heading towards this thick. I'm hoping to find some bedding in this thick cover on the other end of that big old oak flat that we found. Now there's rubs in here. Throughout this thing, but it all looks like early season. That's it. That's it. Not the biggest rubs. So this is that big thicket we came through. We were expecting to find all these big beds in and big rubs, and we didn't find much of anything. And we got out here right at the very tip of this thing. There's a bed right here. All the way back there, so like you can see that is all chest high. That's at my head. That's over my head right there. That's insane. That's crazy. So he's either doing it from the bed or he's coming back. Yeah, there's a bed on this side too. He's doing it from right here. This is all tore up. But still, the fact that he's getting up here. My God, he snapped this off way up here.
That's a big
That's a huge deer. So we just came, that was where that big old buck bed was, and all like the smaller beds that led towards that oak flat. So we're wrapping around this way. We're on like the back end of the big loop that I like to make. Last time I scouted back here, I was on that side of the water, and probably like a couple 100 yards down there was a trail that led across this water that led into here where we're going now. There's a trail that we followed out of that bedding where that big bed was. You can see it right here that I'm following. It comes up, hits this. This is all shredded up. And it's heading towards where that water crossing was, so hopefully we see something. I bet you there's gonna be something in here too. Oh, there wasn't a goddamn thing for sign in there. Just walked through that thicket, came down through here, hit this historical. There's another historical about 20 yards up there, and this is going exactly to where that water crossing was that I found the last time I was out here scouting.